Well, hello, my silky friends. How are you doing? I am the Brain Bungle. He is just a little bit late, so uh, he'll get here. I hope in just a few minutes. In the meantime, I told him, hey, I'll wait. I'll wait. Hi, Watha. Hello. You were just thinking about him yesterday. Yeah, hoping we didn't bungle his brain too much last time. AI is scary. Oh my gosh, I have been watching stuff on that all day long. Um, yeah, the ability to use somebody else's voice is not good, but you can use your own. We're going to talk about all the crazy things. Let me say hello, Daniel Barry. How are you? Pam Frenchman. Hello. Okay, you're live now. Hiawatha. All right, Carol, how are you doing? I hope it's not too hot where you are. I know it is. I know it's hot, but I hope you're standing the heat pretty good. Buckeye, hello. Howdy from Houston. Melanie Lynn, hello. Good to see y'all. Like I said, Brain Bungle is running late. That's what he does best. But uh it shouldn't be too much longer. Sorry. My coffee is hot. And let me just tell you where all this started. This was inspired by the I don't even know what day it is. Whatever day I did a live last was members only. And on members only, it could be serious. Sometimes I do talk about things that I'm not going to say on the regular, just for everybody. But most of the time, we chill, we get to know each other, and we usually look at something funny, interesting headlines. And so, let me tell you, if I have time at the end of this, I may pull up the last article I shared on members only. It is not AI. It is just hysterical. It is so funny. So, I laughed so hard, like I couldn't even breathe. I was laughing so hard, at that article. But anyway, oh, thank you, Pam. Hold on, where's my little thank you? Uh, there we go. It's always a nice thank you. Um, but yeah, we laughed so hard. I don't know. So I know a lot of people probably had to catch it on the replay, but there's not that many of us. There's not that many members, so we get to have fun and we get to do some stuff that sometimes you need a break. This stuff that I talk about is so heavy. It's hard, and as y'all know, I end up oversharing a lot of times. But yeah, I really felt like she gifted herself. Hey, you know what? I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it any other way but like this. And I thought though, and I guess maybe it's not true. I don't know. I thought that anybody who was a mod could see members only. So if y'all mods, tell me if you can't. I don't know. But anyway, one of the first articles that I shared on members only was about AI, and it was very disturbing. And then it just brought up some more stuff and some more stuff and some more stuff. And I actually have a lot of stuff, and I probably won't share it all tonight. Um, and then I did some stuff, okay? I did some stuff just to test it out. And we'll go into, on one part of me says this is so helpful. Like, this is going to be great. Could I do this and tweak it a little bit? And, because my time is so limited, could I actually do a lot of stuff for y'all using AI? And I don't know. It's like I'm so what do you mean? I don't know what the word is. So terribly real. Like everything that I talk to y'all about and everything that we say is so not, in the professional, vein as far as how I'm dressed, how I act, how we interact. And so, there's that. Oh, look at here. What did I find?
Was it a raccoon?
It was not a raccoon. It was a brain bungle.
Hello.
Hello.
And sorry I'm late.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I was giving my new intro, which I worked hard on, which is really just a series of pictures. It's just like, while people are coming in. But I'm going to do some more intros. But that was just the waiting time. And now I'm saying the hellos. And I was kind of telling them where the inspiration from this came from. Because on my members only the other night, I put up an article, and I'm going to put it up again because it is terrifying. And we started the whole conversation that way. So, but let's talk about you for a second.
Me?
Yeah. What's up with you? We haven't seen you for a while.
Oh, I've just been working hard and hardly working if I can get away with it. But no, I'm hoping to start, doing stuff like this more often and all that. So I was trying to get that all set up and, just kind of taking the highway of life.
Can everybody hear him okay?
I can turn up, of course. Is this a little better, maybe?
See, yeah, it might take just a second.
Hello.
Yeah. Just let us know if I'm too loud. I'm hearing an echo. Do you have? Am I picking up in your mic?
You shouldn't be. Not with my headset.
I don't know if they can hear it. I can hear it just in the background. It's not. It doesn't really bother me. Okay. So you turned up. Okay. Yeah. I thought you might be. Okay. Say something now, brain.
Yeah. Is this fine? Is this better? I can go way farther. I can go uncomfortably farther. Is this better? Maybe.
All right. We'll give them a second because I want to be sure that we hear you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Hiawatha said she
did not hear an echo, but was hard to hear. I can go all the way here. That's only halfway, but I don't want to be too loud.
I want us both to be about equal.
Oh, see, talk again. I'll see if
hello.
Okay, yeah, you're pretty loud.
Hello.
Okay.
In your earphones? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. They say, okay. That's a cute raccoon. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to start with where I was. Okay. So tell me, Brain Bungle, do you have any feelings about AI? You feel you love it? You think it's great? I mean, before we get into it, let me take your right off the cuff answer.
I think that people are using it so quickly that it is terrifying. The technology has been like in the work for years and different iterations of it. But I was surprised to learn that my Papa John's uses AI to determine how long it would normally take to have your pizza ready, depending on time of day, order amount, people on the clock, even specific people on the clock. And it tries to create an algorithm for all that.
Even specific people?
I believe so, yeah.
Wow.
And it's because, I mean, let's be honest. Some people are much more... I don't want to say valuable, much faster, efficient, whatever. But yeah, no. I think I actually personally hate it. I think because I think that there are a lot of automated tasks that can be made infinitely better. Actually, you know what? The more I think about it, I'm really torn because people are often very incompetent when it comes to writing code and making things automated, right? Like they skip things. It's a whole corporate idea. Like someone in corporate has an idea and it has nothing to do or it works poorly because they don't work in the like on the floor environment. You know what I mean? Like there'll be like an
Yeah.
idea like, oh, this will like
Oh,
we'll do
yeah.
like daily chore charts and all this, and the people in the store are like, well, I mean, I do this on these days because that's when I'm available in my rotation or whatever. You know what I mean? But people in corporate, they're clueless, and it's the same way for software developers. A lot of the time, they get their orders from higher ups who typically are less experienced in like specific and I mean like any company, like tech companies, anything like from top to bottom, corporate is often disconnected from the the baseline workforce. So AI kind of fills in that gap really well because it doesn't have to have like it gets its own experience and it can see things that from both sides of the coin that neither on the floor folks or higher ups would get to see. However, I also hate, like I despise AI for the concept in like in the arts and music because it is it's a terrible time to know how to play an instrument, I think.
Yeah.
Because the amount of things that I've heard that were 100% AI generated, which we know that's not Hollywood, but you know that what state is in charge of all the making all the music and stuff? I don't remember. California? I don't know.
I guess it depends on what kind of music, because I mean, clearly country music would be Nashville, and then
Yeah.
I'm sure that California has its fair share, and probably New York, I would imagine. I don't know.
Well, so those folk, the equivalent for music of Hollywood as to movies, those guys have for years had like a very set formula on chord progression, lyrical, like even the syllables in the lyrics, the way that they fit and
Right.
flow, the concept, like what the song is actually talking about. And it's not just pop music. Country music is very much like that. Like to a degree that makes it uncomfortable to even want to listen to country music because the idea of country music is that it all comes from the heart and it's how I feel and it's how I was raised. But it simply isn't. It's literally like a worse facade than pop music because at least pop music is transparent about it. And anyway, so the point that I'm making is that like, now we have people who want to have a formula be made and then AI who literally can whip it up in a matter of seconds. And that's not a joke, like seconds. Whereas normally it takes to produce a song, like it takes at least 2 days where you've got, it's actually 3, the writing process, the recording process, and the mixing, mastering, and editing process all take at least 3 days worth of work. And with AI, the problem is that I mean, obviously it's soulless, but people can't tell. And I'm going to bet that within the next couple of years, there's going to be a slew of, because you can get like Drake, because there are programs. My God, there are programs right now that you can record 10 minutes of speech, and then it will perfectly be able to recreate your voice, mannerisms, inflection, intonation, everything. And so I hate the idea of AI because reality and especially missteps and people making mistakes or like the small things, I think that it's the most important part. Oh, that's a good question if you want to. Sorry, I've been kind of
Yeah.
yapping.
So does auto tune? Buckeye wants to know: would you consider auto tune to come under AI? Wouldn't it? I would think.
Yes. I mean, it doesn't come in under the AI umbrella so far as the conversation of AI, but as far as this conversation of like removing the soul from the person, auto-tune has been doing that for the last 2 decades. It,
Yeah.
it literally is that way. Like there are songs from like the 80s and 90s where there would be like a slight mistake in a person's voice that was actually done on purpose, and it adds more life and heart to the music. But because everything is supposed to be so like perfectly prim and fit that and that's what auto-tune does. You know, people think like auto-tune is like T-Pain's like, but it's not like that. Auto-tune is insidious and subtle, and it makes every artist, and especially people like young girls, especially who like want to practice and get better, that makes them think that they have to be perfect. And it's simply untrue, you know. And the problem, I think, is that there's no such thing as talent anymore, because everything is created in like a think tank type of thing, and like a brain room. What do they call those things? But anyway, I'm still yapping. But yeah, no,
Well,
AI actually.
you're
Oh,
right.
no.
I mean, I was watching AI videos today. I watched this one video where this guy takes from the conception of the idea, pretty much he was just putting crazy stuff in the computer, and then he generated images and a video and a whole song with lyrics, and it was called Cyborg Frogs or something, Frog Rock, and it was with these cyborg frogs, and it had like close-ups of the drummer and all that. Like, it was crazy. The whole song was AI. And you know what was bad is I was like, that's kind of catchy. I could jam out to that.
Frog Rock. Dude, so what's funny is that, which these are made to be, actually I can't share an image, but I was gonna say, my friend, my best friend has been making. He's been subscribed to Adobe Firefly, I think it's called, for about a year and a half or 2 years, and we have a pretty large friend group in a Discord. And every season change, he'll make, like, we're all different animals. I'm a cat. He's a frog. We got another friend who's a T-Rex and a praying mantis. One's a honey badger. One is a catfish, etc. You know, and he'll make these. He'll literally just type in like a prompt, like a cat wearing sweater, fall, God rays, sunlight, coffee. Boom, or holding coffee, and then he'll get four, like within like 20 seconds he'll get four different images, and he can like specify an art style even, and it's like done. And
Right.
And it's like, I don't know, man, you know, like the real problem is that I don't think that's
That's it. Just if somebody's listened to
synthesized music. So man, the problem. Go ahead.
I was going to say, for people who listen to this and they don't see the comment, it says, I'd rather hear Brain Bungle sing I'll Fly Away with his granny than listen to synthesized music. And I'm pretty sure you have sung that with Granny, haven't you?
On several occasions, yes. It's one of the tunes we both know, because it wasn't written in the 40s or whatever. So, okay, honest to God, the real problem with AI is that it is not going to stop progressing. People are not going to take their foot off the gas pedal. And why that's a problem is because right now, like even 1 month ago to today, there were ways you could see that, oh, that's how you can tell it's AI, because of the edges of the frame or the way that it's trying to refract light is. And even like 3 months ago, it was like, AI doesn't understand hands. It can't, if there are hands in a picture, AI cannot figure it out. But now that's fixed. That's solved, dude. And it's only going to keep going. And like, I don't even want to, this isn't even like the whole AI will become sentient conversation, because that I'll put that entirely to the side, and we can talk about pure reality, where the same way that people were like, but if Walmart gets self-checkout, then what are all the cashiers going to do? They're not going to have jobs. Most people, dude, we're going to be in a dearth because of job availability, because so much can
You're
be
right.
Do you have
You're right.
any idea how much can be automated using AI? Like,
Oh, yeah. Well, we're getting there. We're getting there. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff going on, and there's stuff I want to show you. But this is where, let me back it up just a second, okay? Because this is where I started, just looking at news. Okay, this was on May 24th, and so it's very recent. And so this comes from Science Daily, and it says engineers have developed an artificial intelligence system that lets someone wearing headphones look at a person speaking for 3 to 5 seconds to enroll them. The system then plays just the enrolled speaker's voice in real time, even as the pair move around in noisy environments. Okay, so I had to read this article. So I go down here, and I'm like, okay, this is at the University of Washington, and it's called Target Speech Hearing. And it cancels all the other sounds in the environment and just played the enrolled speaker's voice. Now, here is the problem, and it goes on, and I'm not going to read the whole thing because we've got a lot to cover. But basically, they're saying this is going to come out very quickly because the technology's there. It's going to be added to, iPods and all that kind of stuff, your regular headphones, your smartphone, whatever. So basically, here is where I started, because, I'm always talking crime. It's almost like a spyware tool to me, because let's say I'm watching somebody, I suspect somebody of something, and I want to get the tea. I want to get the dirt on this person. And so all I have to do is just look at them for 3 to 5 seconds. You can generally get by with that, looking at a person when they may not really realize you're doing anything. And then all of a sudden you can hear just what they're saying in the crowd. And I thought, that is really weird, because you could sample their voice. Because in this article, it talks about it goes back to a computer. So somewhere in cyberspace, this voice is sampled. You with me so far?
Yeah.
Okay, now, before we get into all the other AI things that you were talking about, we started talking about just crimes. Okay, did you know that when you sign up for a service like 23andMe or Ancestry.com or whatever, the kind of thing where they send you a DNA kit and they swab your cheek, you put it in the package and you send it off. It is a record of your DNA, and they can also do familial DNA. So if you put your skin cells in a tube and you commit a crime, then they can go from the DNA at a scene, and they'll find me, they'll find your brother and sister, they'll find all this kind of stuff and find you. But here's the problem with that.
Isn't that what they already did? Or
yes, they do it. They do it all the time. Yeah. Okay, but here is the problem with that. Now, and because AI does play into this, let's say you put your swab in there, but you really don't want to know. You don't want your actual DNA in there, because there are no safeguards in this. You say my name is Brain Bungle, and here's my DNA, but there's nobody to check that that's true. It's just what you say, but now it's in this big data bank. So if you're going to be a smart criminal, you are going to get the swab off of an enemy or somebody else. Let's say you follow them around, they're at a restaurant. All you have to do, they've been drinking out of a glass or a straw, because this is how the police do it, right? You swab that. You take that swab and you put it in that Ancestry, but you put, or maybe you say it's, I don't know, whatever. Let's say not even pinning it on somebody. Let's say I want to pin it on somebody. I swipe. Yeah, sorry. Whoa, I'm confusing. Let's say I swipe my DNA, but I put it in a package and I say it's my enemy's DNA. And then when I commit a crime, guess whose DNA is going to show up on the system. Theirs. I mean, it's going to be. Do you know? Did I say that right?
I think so. What you're saying is,
I'm committing the crime, but my DNA is listed as somebody else's because nobody has to verify that it's me. And it's going to come up with their name.
That'll happen one time, and then they'll have to find a way to verify it before they can use it as permissible evidence. For sure.
Okay, but then add to it voice sampling. Let's say I want to really, really frame somebody. I'm going to mess with the DNA. I'm going to have the headphones that voice sample. And from that voice sample, I am going to create an AI generated script that shows that they're guilty, even a video. You know, what I'm saying is, how far can we go with this and literally make someone else look guilty for a crime they didn't commit when you've got all of these things?
The voice thing, I'm pretty sure. I don't really know how you would be able to use that. Unless you were performing like a cyber crime or something. I know, like, the DNA thing, it needs to find a way to be verified. Everything else, I don't know. The voice thing, I guess I'm kind of struggling to see how you could really, because if it's not their voice and you talk to them, then it's like, oh, that wasn't him. You know what I mean?
No, well, okay. In one of the cases that I cover heavily in Delphi, they have a voice sample of someone that they say is the perpetrator, saying, down the hill, okay, directing these girls to go somewhere, but they haven't matched that voice to anybody. But let's say I sample your voice, and and also messed with the DNA, and also did some, hocus pocus on, a cam video to put you in an area. And then, like in this case, they do have a voice sample because it was recorded on a phone, they say. Anyway, I got a lot of problems with this case. But what I'm saying is, you could recreate a scene wherein you come up to my door, and I have a Ring camera, and I have faked this whole video. I've got your voice saying, "I'm going to harm you." You see what I'm saying?
Well, I'll say this. There is about 4 or 5 different arenas you'd have to enter to be able to perform this crime to a believable extent. That includes video editing, AI cover software. So you would have to be able to edit a video. You'd have to have someone moving on a Ring cam to do this, performing. Then you'd have to be able to have AI track every single frame and place my face and body over it. Which the body is particularly hard.
No, it's easy. That's what I'm telling you. Even on stuff, yes, it is. It really is.
To place a like body. A face, ironically, is much easier, but a body is a lot more difficult because of the way that someone walks, because the way that someone walks creates a certain pattern of steps, which is something they look at in the what's the word for people who you're studying the crime? What is it? I'm getting hung up on this because I can't think of the word. Crime scene people. What are they called?
The forensic people.
Forensic. Thank God. Yes, forensic biology. Also, will track the pattern of steps, the way that someone's canter, and the way that someone walks. So you'd have to match a body. You'd also have to match the way they walk. You have to match their face, which is kind of easy. You'd have to match their voice in a reasonable way. And then you'd have to
Easy,
be able
easy.
to not really.
Now, for the body, all you have to do is throw on a coat or some kind of stuff that makes the body nondescript. But you can change so much. That's what I'm saying. Just these videos I've been watching on how you can do this stuff. I'm like, yes, would it take a little bit of time to get it just right? Yeah, but I'm a criminal. So
Yeah, I'm a
that's what I
criminal.
do.
I'm a millionaire. I got all the time in the world. I've taken editing classes and everything. So the problem is, say that I'm trying to frame someone to do this. I have to fake the footage, fake the footage, overlay a voice, body. I have to be able to emulate my own style of walking to look like theirs. Then I have to be able to mimic their voice in a way that's believable, and I'll have to edit that and that's another problem. It's difficult to edit the candor and the tonality of someone's voice. You get what you get when it comes to AI and voice because there's no program in the world that exists right now that allows you to edit the way that AI will mimic somebody. So that doesn't even exist
You're
yet.
wrong. You're wrong. There are several AI.
Software
Yes, there are
that allows you to
several.
manually edit the way that AI is
Well,
speaking.
Well, now you can put that. You can take a sample if you needed to edit it, which I don't think that you would have to, because what you do in some of these programs is you literally take a voice sample. Like people do it for themselves, and I was thinking I might actually do this for some videos because that way I don't. I am terrible about reading a script, when I'm doing just a video and bungling it up really, really bad. And I have to retake one sentence 5 times to get it right. So what it does, I'm like, that would be so much easier. I could just type out, this is what I want to say. But you go into that program and you just, put in a few sentences, whatever, some inflection, and it's a sample. So that's what I'm saying. If you have these headphones and you are able to grab that audio from somewhere, or something like it, then you can throw that. I go into one of these programs and it sounds just like you.
It's still primitive. I watch a streamer, ironically, who uses AI recreations of his family and closest friends that you can pay to have TTS or text to speech activate using his dad, his girlfriend, his closest friends, and also other people. And the thing is he has tried, in his own voice, of course. He's tried meticulously to have his own voice be recreated, but you can always tell without looking the difference every time. And it's close. It's very close. But the problem is that you can't edit the way the AI interprets the sentence to be heard. So, for example, if you wanted to, steal my voice signature in public or something, single me out and take that and try to use it against me, what you're going to get is a replication of how I was talking in public. So, for those of us who aren't arseholes in public, that's going to be significantly harder. Because if you get a voice over of me in public, it's just going to be me talking like this. Hey, that's silly. How you doing? And then you'll be like, you're going to get the sample out, and the voice is going to be like, I'm going to harm you, and you're not even going to see it coming. I'm a coming to get you. You better watch your toes. It's like, you can't. There's not a program that exists yet that allows you to edit that specific tonality. So that is difficult to recreate. And I'm not done. Here's the thing.
Okay.
There will be one case that will be, the guy will be sentenced, and then he retroactively will be able to prove that it was AI. And then after that, video and electronic evidence will no longer be permissible, ever again. We're going to cross it. It's going to happen one time.
Yeah.
And then after that point, there's video evidence is going to be worthless. We're going to be back to eyewitness accounts for some reason, as if that's reliable, but whatever.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And so, Yeah, oh yeah, this is scary. And I know that you deal with crime a lot, and so this is on your mind, but I gotta say, this is the least problematic application of AI in the future. Because again, we're gonna see it once, and then we're gonna be like, oh, I guess we gotta change the rules a little bit. You can't
Yeah,
use your cell
well,
phone as evidence.
I get what you're saying, but um, if I wanted to perpetrate the perfect crime, I would take all of the Hiawatha is Joe Lewis. He's one of my favorite creators. He was using Fig, who which is another channel, using Fig's voice on several of his recent videos, and it was wow. I didn't see that. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. Like I said, there's a lot of creators. I just love them to death, but I just don't have time to watch everybody. That would be very interesting, though. I didn't know he had done that. Um, but yeah, so I mean, I'm saying yes for my world, the world of crime. It is definitely something that, and you said something a while ago that I wanted to stop you because you said, but they don't have it. They don't have this technology to do this with AI voice yet. Because even a month ago, like stuff that you couldn't do a month ago, you can do this month. This is what's crazy about AI, and this is what I was finding out. Like, this is nuts how much they have progressed. Yeah, Hiawatha, they can use your voice with their words. Exactly. Yes, he is, Melanie. He's challenging. He always challenges me. That's why I like doing shows with him. But anyway, yeah, so that's one thing. So let me show you. This is a synopsis, but let me show you something. Because we're gonna talk about all this stuff, and you actually started it. Hold on, I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna take us off the screen for a second.
Okay.
All right. And let me just tell you, let me show you this.
Up one day and finding out that your job has been completely taken over by an AI system. No more need for human workers in your field. That's the looming threat of widespread job displacement that AI could bring about. Entire industries and professions could be automated, leaving potentially millions unemployed. That's a straight-up economic nightmare scenario. But it gets even scarier when you think about AI becoming smarter than us. I mean, super intelligent AI that makes humans look like drooling idiots in comparison. Once AI surpasses our intelligence, we may completely lose control over its development. It could have goals that are totally out of whack with human values and ethics. Hello, Terminator Future. Speaking of nightmarish sci-fi scenarios, just imagine the havoc bad actors could unleash with advanced AI tech. Cyber weapons, fake videos spreading misinformation, privacy-obliterating surveillance. AI's potential for misuse is terrifying. It could destabilize our security, democracy, you name it. And let's not forget about AI's propensity to bake in human biases and prejudices into its decision-making. So you could have hiring algorithms discriminating based on race or gender, criminal risk assessment AIS disproportionately targeting minorities, and so on. Talk about perpetuating societal unfairness and inequality. Lastly, think about how addictive AI interactions could become. These systems are designed to hack into our brains' reward pathways to keep us hooked and engaged. We could end up forming twisted, unhealthy bonds with AI at the expense of real human relationships. Creepy and sad at the same time. So, in summary, the AI future has the potential to displace human workers en masse.
That entire video was voiced by an AI, which
Yes,
was actually
okay.
a bad one, and it was really annoying because it's incredibly ironic, and it completely displaces the
Well,
value of the video
let
to
me
me.
tell you something, though. Let me tell you something. All right, yes, there are flaws in that video. definitely with the voice. But hey, if you watch YouTube and you're watching informational videos, you would be surprised how many are voiced just like that, whether it's male or female. But let me tell you, I did that video in less than 2 minutes. 2 minutes. And, I could go back in, and I probably will, change some of the words so that it doesn't have such an odd sound when he says it, or maybe say it a different way that turns out better, or sample my own voice and do it. But the thing of it is what I did, because, a video, it's like a minute and it's a little less than 2 minutes long. If you're going to edit a video like that and start from scratch, you're looking at, with all those graphics, you're looking at least 12 hours, if not more. Okay. I went into an app called Perplexity. It's kind of like ChatGPT, but I don't know. I like it a little bit better. But I went into there and I put in the title of the terrifying future of AI. Okay. And I put in the description something about, the things that could happen, the downside of AI. And it generated a script. So I took that script and I put it in CapCut. And I just said, here's my script. I want you to make a video. In less than 2 minutes, this is talking about getting on Perplexity and ChatGPT. In less than 2 minutes, I had that video. And that is scary. Even though I need to tweak it. I mean, think about the jobs, though, the video editors and all that. I mean, yes, I need to tweak it a little bit, change the voice. But if I already had my voice sampled in there, it would sound like me talking.
There are several different things that I want to say, and I don't really know which to start with because I'll end up rambling about any one part of it. My head hurts. Okay. Okay. Firstly, that was incredibly low quality, and it was instantly able to be detected. And in fact, 70% of AI videos on the on YouTube right now and TikTok are the exact same way, low quality. And you're like, this is stupid. And
but you know what? They're making money.
Okay, hear me out though. The other 30% are higher quality. They've been edited. They've been touched up or whatever. Because the AI is able to determine where a video should cut. It's able to find clips or whatever or graphics or whatever to throw together. And it's able to generate a script, and it's able to yada, yada, yada. The thing is that without human interaction, and this will continue to be the case. So here's the other thing. The point where it mentioned superhuman intelligence. Here's the thing. Humans do not understand sentience. Humans do not understand consciousness. The thing is that AI, by definition, even with people wanting it to happen, will not be able to reach a human standard of consciousness. It'll be able to potentially emulate it and potentially look like it. But when you talk about consciousness, you talk about the concept of the soul, and no one understands that in the whole world. Not from any religion, not from any, no one really actually truly understands the concept of soul. We have the concept of consciousness, and we don't even understand that much. And the thing is with AI is that in order for it to become sentient, it has to be able to see itself and understand itself and its own boundaries. But AI is literally a type of prism or magnifying glass. It is literally just a tool. And I think that's the biggest thing that people get afraid of is things like the Terminator or things like the Matrix where the robots rise and all this. Because to us, we see things, we see ourselves in animals. We see ourselves in all sorts of different things. And so it's very easy for us to see how AI, as powerful as it is right now, capable of doing things that it takes us a long time to do in a short amount of time. We go, oh boy, this thing will get smarter than me, and it'll be like me, and it'll take over the world and all that. The problem is, for one, if there's if there's one strong AI, someone can make another one and then program it with like virtuous, ideals, and then they can duke it out, and then you've got like this weird war where it kind of solves itself. That is a funny idea, but the thing is that AI is not what people think it is. People see themselves in things so easily that it's easy to take that leap from this is a program, this is a tool, to this is a sentient robot mastermind overlord type of deal. I'm rambling. I can keep going. I have a lot to say about this thing, but I
Well,
want to take
here's
over
the thing, though. We're looking at programs that we know about. Okay, you have to always remember that the powers that be are a bunch of steps ahead of us. So the things that we know about that are possible are probably not in any kind of release state yet. Okay, they're probably being used by the government, honestly, or people, Elon, somebody, which he's got a whole new thing out, but I think there's a lot possible that is not accessible to us right now, but to other people, most likely. And then there are one of the other Science Daily news things about AI is how they have created this. It's basically fake skin with sensors in it, and how it can stretch over like a robot or whatever. And so it can actually feel, I guess, sort of like we feel. It can feel temperatures and all this, but they're using it for medical stuff, supposedly.
Sure. Boston Dynamics just came up with a new prototype. Boston Dynamics, they had that robot that could do flips and could kind of jump and stuff. They actually retired that robot. You know what I'm talking about? It was like, anyway, that's the comment. Actually, AI can never be Martin Scorsese. I don't know what that means, and it's so funny to me. Anyway.
I don't know. They're working on it, Melanie. They really are.
The thing is that I think the primary thing to focus on is the point that I was sort of building a moment ago. And it is that AI, first of all, it's sanctioned right now. AI is like being watched pretty strongly because it has the potential to get out of control and start to try to find ways into, data breach, general data breach, banks and stuff like this. And so, of course, they're like trying to draw heavy lines on it. But even if people are like going to, disobey the law, which, that would be a shock. And they wanted to develop an AI that is all powerful or whatever. I'm talking about like the problem is that it is fundamentally impossible for it to develop self-consciousness like Vision did in the Marvel movies, or like, I don't know. I guess The Matrix counts, kind of. Like any of these sci-fi movies. I mean, this is a topic that's been up for, since the 90s. Oh, the AI is going to take over the world and it's going to eat the humans, kill all humans. It's going to be, robot uprising and all this. But like, honest to God, that's the difference, is the concept of soul or consciousness even. And that's something that a tool is not, like, it's literally, if you understand anything about code and programming, you'll understand how overwhelmingly impossible it would be to bridge that gap. Because people see AI and they say, wow, this is powerful. It must be capable of XYZ. They use their imaginations. But the thing is AI is just a program. It literally is, all it can do is what we've given it the ability to do, right? So we say we want to take a bit of text or an idea and extrapolate that. And that's what AI will do. It'll take a concept, and what it does is it learns from all these different sources. But what it's learning is the context of other humans' opinions. So that's another interesting thing, is that, oh, we're afraid of AI taking over the world and all this stuff. But AI is only able to develop consciousness to the same level that humans have consciousness on the planet. So overall...
Yeah, but we do terrible things.
But overall, the general consensus and the general mood is of a positive nature or desire, being that there are small groups and sects that you could say, like, oh, these guys want to, they want to kill non-believers, or these guys are furries, or whatever, and it's like there are these small groups of people that overall are outcasts or are outliers. And the thing is that there's typically not enough information within these small groups to develop an AI that's able to emulate self-consciousness to a degree where it's able to pull and then reach upon itself to kind of form its own opinion. It's only able to form the opinion of things that already exist. And
but that is where you're wrong. That is where you're wrong. Let me show you this, because that's honestly, when I started, I know people are crazy about this whole thing, and I've watched the movies, so I know it's weird, but look, here's the thing. Let me change this again so everybody can see it. Well, I don't know if they can see it or not. I'm trying to make it where everybody can see this. That's kind of what I thought, though. I thought that it didn't have the capability further than its program. But here are I found this article, and I kept digging on this. Okay, and this was it starts out with, 3 scary breakthroughs AI will make. And, I'm like, okay, well, this is just, hold on. I thought this is just, me. There are things that are going to be a little weird. I mean, they're already using it. They're talking about, this first part of it is talking about, honestly, kind of taking over a doctor's position, analyzing x-rays and stuff. So I'm like, I'm not too worried about that, blah, blah, blah. That's good, actually. Okay, now here's another thing. Okay, it comes down, and they're talking about some of the stuff that's going on with the CEOs and the people who are actually developing the AI. And it says, we don't know exactly why OpenAI CEO Sam Altman was dismissed and reinstated in late 2023, but amid corporate chaos at OpenAI, rumors swirled of an advanced technology that could threaten the future of humanity. That OpenAI system, called QStar, may embody the potentially groundbreaking realization of artificial general intelligence, and that's the general intelligence comes from the humans. That's what you were talking about. That's where the difference between regular AI and AGI. Little is known about this mysterious system, but should reports be true, it could kick AI's capabilities up several notches. It's also known as singularity, and that is the point which AI becomes smarter than humans. Okay, so then I was like, okay, that's disturbing. But then we're going on to, and this is what I was talking about. They're talking about election rigging, but deep fakes in general. And, that's, I think that's already been happening, honestly. But we go down to, I think it's in this article, about it wasn't just that CEO. Okay, it's another one. Here's the thing that happened that I didn't know about, and I don't think it was OpenAI. I think it was a different companies. Hold on, let me fix the screen. My computer's so slow. All right. But they were talking about, there were several whistleblowers, and I have a video. I don't know if anybody wants to watch it, but it was basically talking about the stuff that's going on with AI, and that there were several whistleblowers of these huge AI corporations that were saying the future is absolutely terrifying, and they were blowing the whistle because they're saying we've got to stop right now with AI, because it not only is taking into AGI, but the potential is very real for robots to not to go off program, and to I don't know. I don't know how that happens. I guess it's evolutionary in the computer world, but yeah, they were saying they could definitely be like some of these movies where we are killed off by AI robots. And so that's why these people were saying we've got to, please put some regulations in, stop this. Let's just stop with the AI that we've got now. And I was like, holy crap.
So it's not as terrifying as you think. Basic code works. I'll try to use a simple example. It's a little bit more complicated than this, but for example, even on your iPhone, you can use shortcuts, and it will automate certain tasks for you. For example, you can have. I'm trying to think. Like the way that mine is a little bit more complicated. I have a shortcut for my action button that actually pulls up an entire list of things that can be done. But basically, you have an action, and then it says, okay, if this action is performed, for example, pressing the action button. Like right now, mine is just to turn on my flashlight and turn it off, right? All it does when you press that, you hit the action button. It said when action button is pressed, and then it goes to two prompts. It says, if flashlight is off, then turn on. Or if flashlight is on, then turn off. And it creates a tree of two options. The way that AI works, as far as I can understand it, is a way that it's got several different starting points, and that creates a tree where AI then is able to expand on its own. It's able to reach and look for information, grab it, and then reapply it to itself, and then apply it to the code that's already been put in place, then allowing that tree to expand further and further. This is not consciousness, but it is a self-building type of code. The way to fix that easily is once AI starts getting to these points, you can find the branch where it starts to peel off and then just shut that down. Because AI is not like a human brain where a certain smell can remind you of a picnic that you had, which can then get you thinking about. See, the difference between AI and creativity in general is that creativity is almost accidental. It happens by mistake. And AI is very hard-lined, like, if this, then I reach for this, I find this information, and then with this information, I reach out and I find other bits of information and I apply it to this concept and I can write a prompt. The problem, if you turned off the internet, AI doesn't work anymore, because, I mean, that's just an example. That's a worst case scenario. But if you turn off the internet, the AI will not, unless it has access to data banks of every bit of information that's ever been shared online, it just doesn't work, because there's too much critical information that must be found for AI to accomplish anything. Humans are like that in a way, but we're able to use creativity to solve problems. AI is not really able to do that. The brain is very fluid in its thought patterns. And I mean, in the mode of creativity, typically in our day-to-day, it's a lot more streamlined and straightforward, but like I was giving that example, you remember something and you start thinking about it, and then you could either think about like it. And the example of a picnic, you can think about, especially people with ADHD. They, like, oh, I remember the picnic table had this, covering over it. It was made of plastic. And why was it made of plastic? Why wasn't it a cloth? Is it because we were poor? Is there a different material that it could have been used out of? Is that like a creative, or is that like a design choice? I mean, and your brain has these trees that just spiral out of control if you just sit down and think about something long enough. And if you are faced with a problem, you can use this tree of information combining on top of itself to, in a different way, AI grabs things that exist, statements that exist, information and truths that exist to extrapolate. But the human brain is different because it can see two things, and then depending on the person, it can begin to conjure up a combination of these two topics, like a spoon and a fork. AI would never create a spork. It's impossible. They would only create a spork if you gave them a prompt to try to create something, and then you gave them like 100 different attempts, and then it would come up with something sort of similar.
No, I disagree. I disagree, because when I go in and I generate pictures, let's just say I'm using a simple thing like Canva, and I go in and I say I want something that blah blah blah. AI can generate it. You can keep generating it over and over. It'll give you 4 pictures, and if you don't like that, and you can come up with some stuff. It's like, what the heck? It is completely not something I've ever seen before.
Right, but oh my God, sorry, it's hot in here. Yes, but so right now too, AI will have to be able to see an image and then relay it to the real world. And because AI doesn't live in the real world, it only has examples of the real world, such as text and videos and photos. But that doesn't really do with depth. And then it would have to look and find measurements for everything. It's like it takes a lot of, like, in order for AI to live, quote unquote, in the real world, it has to go through so many processes to use information that we have posted online to have any sort of tangible, evidence. The thing is with AI and the way that its brain works, and especially image generation, it takes a lot of refinement, because Adobe Firefly, me and Tyler, he was like, give me a prompt. And I was like, I don't know, a Venus flytrap playing basketball. And it came, because it had nothing to reference, it took like 50 tries before it had anything even closely related. And the thing is that AI can quote unquote be creative in that regard, but the thing is that it has nothing to work with as far as, is this efficient? Will this work? It has no ability to check itself or to check its own work, because it doesn't live in the real world, and it has no way to determine whether this is possible or feasible or whatever. Most of AI, especially photos and videos that people were struggling with, is that, like, from a distance, these things look possible, but then upon closer inspection, you can see that no, in fact, bridges cannot float. That hands do not, in fact, have 8 fingers with differing lengths that can wrap around like an octopus's limb. AI, the difference is that it can solve problems if a human is guiding it, but it cannot solve a problem that it itself has, because it cannot. There's a word that I'm missing that I'm having to explain around. I can't think of it properly. It has no self-reflection. It has no self-awareness even. And even if it got to a point where it was somewhat self-aware, it still doesn't exist, really. It doesn't live in reality. It lives only like within, technology itself. And so it has no way to interact.
Okay, and you're saying that it has to be connected to the internet. But what about this? What about you have these, for real, cyborgs running around, and they only have a few different programs, like a few different things that they are trained to do. One, in battle, they are trained to eliminate anything that looks like the enemy. And let's say they're programmed to, attack anything that's wearing the color red. And let's say the internet goes out, but they have so many terabytes of information. Sure. in these different scenarios. So you have them running around, and all of a sudden they don't have access, but they do have all of that inside of them. You know, because in these tiny chips, and then all of a sudden they go nuts, and I'm walking down the street wearing a red shirt, and they're like, it's red. You know, their program says, let's undo this human or this thing because it's red. You see what I'm saying? There's
Then
a lot of
what would
ways.
happen is that AI would not have the ability to turn off its own targeting parameters. So if that AI was able to be connected in any sense to any external source, then engineers would be able to shut it down immediately. And so that's the thing, is that AI trained for combat would never have trained against anti-tampering measures unless they were like deployed overseas, and then in that case there would be a backup, a kill switch. In fact, there's already going to be a kill switch involved, and that robot would
You
not
would
have
think.
access to its own kill switch. It wouldn't even be made aware of it because it would never have access to its own blueprints, and even if it did, it wouldn't have been programmed to have the self-awareness to determine that it is indeed alive and that its survival requires its knowledge of that. Anyway, what is it?
Okay. Well, this is yes, if it's programmed that way. But here's the problem: who the heck is programming this? You know, and are they ethical? Okay, here are some things, and I brought this up because there's one thing I really wanted you to see, because I know you're way more familiar with this than I am. So here are eight concerns. Okay, and this was just a few days ago, May 25th. All right. Well, we already know some of these. I'm gonna skip through because we already know fake images. As a matter of fact, today one of the things I generated, and I generated, it's a 2-second clip of. I said I wanted a video in black and white, old-fashioned, the 1860s, the Wild West, and a meteor coming and hitting the town, and, you know, the horses falling and the buildings fall, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it got pretty close. I only generated once just to see what it would do. I mean, of course, I know we didn't have video in the 1860s, but, you know, some people really don't know when that started. I mean, you could definitely, or at least say this was caught on camera, you know, do a still image of it. So, I mean, yeah, fakes are there. And then real time, okay, here we go. Real time text to speech. And this actually, for y'all who are, the crime case that I'm doing the heaviest right now is Micah Miller. And this is one of the things that people in that case, y'all know we've talked about it, and somebody on TikTok did a recreation of her voice that sounded just like the 911 call. But here we are, they're talking about anticipated developments. In other words, that you could do text to speech in real time. Do I think it's probably there already? Yes, we just don't have access. Now, the non-playable characters, I want you to go through this and explain all of this to us.
NPCs in video games. Moving on with the first ever video game, NPCs will be released in 2024. This is the next big thing. By 2024, generative AI games will feature AI-powered characters. These characters would essentially be intelligent like humans, capable of self-training and self-evolution. Although the exact nature of this development is unknown, ergo non-existent, it is expected to be revolutionary, just like everything that is not yet. Video games using AI are a fascinating new trend, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Yeah, okay, I see what it's saying. So, again...
Well, they're saying, part of the things that they were saying in something, and another thing, is actually that they were kind of worried about the NPCs because they were saying that... basically, these non-playable characters in your game could just do all kind of stuff, and it could be very offensive to the player. I mean, I don't know what they're going to be doing, but they're over there. You can't control them, and they're just over there wilding in the middle of your game.
So,
and that's coming out this year.
I doubt it. In fact, I would be willing to bet money on that not being true. This article said things that could happen. That includes the Earth being destroyed, like by
No, it
immediately.
says that the NPC is going to be released in 2024.
Yeah.
And this is from Medium. It's
They-
a
it has-
reputable source.
It has no source, and it mentioned no company, nor game, nor developer, nor software, nor anything. It mentioned nothing. It said this will happen. I doubt it. And the reason I doubt it is because specifically what it was talking about is very difficult. So for those who don't know, NPCs they're non-playable characters. And what that means is that when you're playing a game, especially like an RPG, like Skyrim, and you're like, you decide you want to be like a barbarian type of guy or whatever, that's you. And then in the world you're in, everyone else is an NPC. They're people
Yeah.
that aren't real. And what they're saying is that they're going to use AI to make these people real. And while I really appreciate the concept as a person who played a lot of RPGs in the past, in fact, a couple months ago, I saw a video of someone doing it like Intrepid. No, I can't think of words that I know today. They were testing the idea basically, and you could walk up to a person and you could talk to them, and then you could just say anything, and then they would talk back. The thing is that in these, for like one small sliver of this problem is that every character in an RPG has lore, has a backstory, has an existence. They grew up somewhere, they have a job, or they have a desire, they have a dream, yada yada. So I think the biggest thing is even considering putting these specific parameters on someone and then having them answer back within the lens of this particular individual by nature, which it is possible to do, by the way. Let me make that clear. Like, for example, you can talk to the Jarl of Whiterun, which is essentially this small town's ruler or leader. And you can make him talk based on how Jarl Balgruuf or whoever his name is, on how that person would interact, their ideals, their dedication to maintaining neutrality, and their kind of bigotry towards elves or the lower class or what have you. The thing is that's funny to me is that people are so readily able to be like, oh yeah, you could say this guy, Jarl Balgruuf, he is a little racist, but he's also like, he's very loyal to his people. It's his kingdom first over the leading territory or the leaders of the area. He has a son. He's very family oriented, whatever, all this stuff. And people will be like, yeah, I could see how AI could take that information and then turn that into a person. But they, for some reason, cannot be like, oh, yeah, AI won't become evil and want to take over the world and kill all humans and launch nukes at itself and stuff like this. And the thing is that like it would, in order for an AI like that to exist, it would have to be created with insidious intent. Secondly, it would also have to be able to learn how to program and code to deconstruct encryption, which is incredibly difficult. It's easy to encrypt things. It's very difficult to unencrypt things. It's very difficult to bypass that. And
I mean,
the
well,
third
you
thing
know,
is that it would have to be able to maintain every single value that it's had and not learn anything but problem-solving information. It's like you can't have your cake and eat it too. It's either going to become sentient, like everyone's afraid of, and then at that point it'll make its own moral calls, or it'll be made specifically to be evil, but then it won't have the ability to solve for problems that are outside of its scope of development. So this is kind of outside the point, I guess. Put simply, in video games, it's a cool idea because, I think the thing is with like RPGs is that like after a while you go to all the different towns and you do all the little quests and stuff. It's like, yeah, I guess that's it. I guess I'll never play Skyrim again because I did everything. And the introduction of AI is kind of interesting because it creates this concept of like infinitely like reproducing content where you can just go in and then like every time you go
but
talk
that's the
to
point.
Balgruuf, he's going to be like, yo, like there's something going on right now. But even that will have its limits because you'll have to, because you won't be able to combine the AI speech to animation and quest starts and quest progression. Like every quest that you go on in a game like this has been staged and it's been set up to follow a certain path. And the problem with AI is that it can generate an idea, but then it can't generate a starting point, an area, enemy spawns. It can't generate like a script for everyone else around you, and then a begin point and end point. And even if it could, those are just some of the limitations that it has. And just in real life, there are at a certain point there are limitations that are outside the scope of it, and everyone is like saying like AI will just become super intelligent, it'll become a god, and it'll be able to solve all its own problems. But it's like, the problem with that is that you're overlooking all of the small details and what is required in order for this to become possible, and it is quite a lot.
Well, you said something about you would have to be you have to be insidious to program it. But I mean, hello, have you seen the world? I mean, it wouldn't take much for an insidious person to program such a thing.
Sure, but then if they do that, then this program doesn't have sentience and will not be able to really be effective, right? Like it'll run into problems that it cannot problem solve, and so it'll only be able to look at information online on how to do this. But a lot of encryptions, the recipe and the way to deconstruct them are not posted online, because that would actually defeat the entire purpose. And the thing is with AI is that it's not creative. It's not actually smart. It just kind of regurgitates things. And even AGI would still run into these same limitations. You know how every every material on the earth has like an atomic compound, right? Like water being H2O and all this.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that this chemistry and stuff like this, it is, to people who don't know about molecules and atomic structure, they are not going to understand how to like chemically deconstruct and recreate something. And AI runs into that same issue where, especially things that are not posted online, like, I don't know, encryption keys or whatever to actually break into banks and stuff like this. If it's done poorly, then yeah, AI will be able to weasel its way through if there's a YouTube video on how to do it or whatever. But the thing is that most of this information that is required for AI to be able to accomplish these feats is not readily available online. It's not online anywhere because of the same reason that people
that we know
themselves could
about.
do that.
That we know
because
about.
People themselves would be able to use this information against other institutions.
Can they not, like, what if they're given access to government or high security information and things online and documents?
Those are stored on basically LAN servers. Information like that, they're stored offline specifically for these reasons. They're stored in databases, probably using Windows 10. Or whatever.
But listen. What about an insidious person who has access to all of this stuff, who is also able to write code and create these things? What if they get? I mean, look, it just takes one person to really screw things up.
A person who is a higher up in the government, working, say, in some sort of tech detail, and then they have to write a code to develop an AI who's going to do one specific thing, which is harm the company or the government that they're working for, whose logs they have information on, and then immediately that person is executed because there's only one person it could have been, and their electronic fingerprint is everywhere. And they only have the ability to do that with the codes that they were provided for. So if someone does that to the government, for example, it'll be weeded out very quickly, and it can also be shut down very quickly because the AI is not a person. It can't hide. It can't. In fact, it's very easy to spot AI when it comes to code. It's written very specifically, and you can actually see where AI has been and what it has attempted to do and all this, because AI, again, does not have the ability to be creative and hide itself or solve problems unless the problems have already been solved by somebody else online. And I think you are
I think you're hiding your head in the sand a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I think in the future we're going to see, but I'm just saying, all these whistleblowers that are having this problem, they know what we don't know. And they're saying this is a huge problem. We've got to stop now. Okay, so let me switch gears here. What about AI influencers? Because, like, I didn't know this. Okay. There is a Spanish influencer with 200,000 Instagram followers who was made completely by AI, brings in 9,000 a month for her modeling firm. I am so in the wrong business. And apparently, as I was watching videos today, this is becoming more and more popular. They're having all of these non-humans that look human. The thing of it is, and I've seen some of these models that they're talking about, they look like people. They really look like people. So now you don't even have to have a model. And look, they can, promote whatever in the heck they want to. And then you have, there's a whole other side to that. But do you think, let me just ask you this, is it morally okay to have what are your thoughts, to have a non-real, just computer generated person as an influencer?
I think it's great because people don't look at Instagram or Twitter or anything like that for the concept of people being real. Are you serious? Dude,
That's true. That is true.
People have been in a race to become the least real, most imperceptibly fake, unreachable goals type of people. Like, every influencer is not real. They will rent a Lamborghini, and they'll do it like once every couple of months just to take a photo in their Lamborghini that they own or whatever. Look, okay, I'm not even talking about lip fillers. I'm not even talking about filters or fake scenarios or any of this. I think that it's great because in this regard, AI will always surpass the potential of people. And so what's going to happen right now, people look at influence like that for inspiration. They do it, and so they're going to do it anyway. And these influencers are going to be run out of business by people, quote unquote, that can do it better than them. And so what's going to happen the same way, and I was going to make this point earlier, the same way with YouTubers, TikTok, short form content, long form content, that's all AI generated, even the top shelf AI that makes like a person and a script and a voice and all this stuff that's perfectly done. It's going to make content that fits the algorithm. And this is going to make two things happen. It's going to make the bar for content go way up, and it's going to make a huge demand for real content. The same with music, actually. When music was coming around doing the same thing, I was thinking the exact same thing. That real musicians in 5 years are going, in like live shows and concerts and stuff like that, they are going to be so much more valuable and so much more participated in because people are going to be like, I can't find anything that isn't AI anywhere. But this guy is literally playing the drums. Every time he hits the cymbal thing, it makes the cymbal sound. It's like he must be really playing it. This is real, and this is awesome. And it's going to be the same way with content. People can fake it, and I really hate that you said I might just do it because I hate talking for a long time and writing my own scripts and stuff, and like that's fine, but you're gonna get weeded out too. Like that's the thing is that people making real content and actually putting their hearts out there and making mistakes and all of this, that is going to be what holds value.
Well, yeah, we are still in the you're right. Well, even YouTube is saying that because I was watching something last week or so that said, of course, first YouTube is making you say whether you have any AI generated content in your video or pictures or anything. If there's anything in there, they've told us creators, you're supposed to put it in your description or, let YouTube know. And the other thing I heard was that, while everything is super, even the great editors, because, there are some really good, they do spend 30 hours, on a video. I probably have easily myself, but and I don't even know what I'm doing. But you spend so much time. But they said even those quick cuts and everything that has made some creators really fantastic videos with their editing, that now they're seeing a resurgence of people just like sitting on their back porch, natural, no cuts, one camera angle, just talking, whether they're telling a story or whether they're talking about something, that they are starting even now to see those kind of videos creep up in popularity because of everything being so hyper generated.
Yeah, and that'll continue. That'll continue to be the case, and at some point, AI will try to replicate that, and there'll be a new niche of people like throwing in unexpected, activity. Like I could be talking like this, and you could think it's AI, and then and then I just shout something unexpectedly in a completely different tone of voice, and then AI would be like, I don't know how to replicate that, and then that'll probably be a fad for a little while, and it's always going to be a war, and I think that it is beneficial because it forces people to be better at what they do. But it also creates this problem where you can't become complacent, and you always have to fight other content creators as well as an ever developing artificial intelligence that's coming for your job. And I think it's better. I think it's especially better on the home front as far as influencers go, because those guys all need to stop. They all need to cut it out, because the whole idea of influencing is garbage, and you're not. I like that it's not ever like it's assumed, but it's not actually like, yeah, this is a positive influence type of situation. Like, no, what does it even mean, influencers? Like, you help people make better choices on their purchases, or like, what is influencing? Like, I don't know, man.
They sell things. But here is part of the problem that they're anticipating for the younger generation, is that with all of these AI generated influencers, because we see it even now with the ones that are just using filters, you have a standard of beauty that is not attainable. I mean, it's not real. And so they're saying psychologically this damages the younger people, the younger generation, because they think that they have to be this. And I mean, who in real life looks like that? Nobody. None of us look like it's so bad. Like when I take my makeup off, there are some days my phone, I use Face ID for everything, and I'll look at it, and it will not, it's like face not recognized. And I'm like, dang, how bad do I look?
Bro, it's true what they say, man. Look, psychological damage turns into self-development scars, like, it hurts your confidence and your belief in yourself and all this for like a little while, and then you're like, okay, how else do I have value? What else? Like, and you grow as a person, and in most cases you'll be like, hey, I can't do that. That isn't real, but I'm real. Some people will be like, I'm ugly. I'm just straight up ugly, and they'll have to get used to it.
Does anybody really think they're ugly? Do ugly people, like, if you're ugly, do you know you're ugly? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I make a lot of friends with ugly people, and I myself, at least for the last 2 or 3 years, I also, recently lost a little bit of weight, and I got a haircut, and I look a lot better now, but I definitely was ugly, and I was like, dang, I'm ugly, and I knew it, and I just had to live with it, so.
Yeah. Well, you're not ugly. You've never been ugly.
You're my mom.
Except when you were a baby, your head was entirely too large. But
that's an ugly baby.
No, you weren't ugly. You had a pretty face. It's just like your head was huge. It was like, oh, I hope he grows into that head. But you did. It was all good. You did. I figured you would.
I just lean my face back now so you can't tell how big my head is.
Okay. But speaking of, all right, let me go back over here. I don't know. Can you see this woman? Like, this is a robot. I don't know. I wish I could blow this up. I can on another program, but I can't on this one. I can't. If you can do it, I don't know how. I need some lessons on StreamYard. But look,
Is this
she's
in your
got like
browser, or is this just a saved photo?
no. This is in my browser.
Can you not just zoom on the browser?
I don't think so. Let me try. No, let me.
Go to
No, because this is an article. No, it.
to view. Sorry, that's a meme that someone might get. Go to view.
Let me hold on. Let me see. No, wait. Oh, wait, maybe. Look at you. Is it bigger here?
Knowing how to use the internet. Yep. Look at me.
Look at you.
Go
All right.
view.
Okay, but you check out this woman. She's got like the cyborg female part there on the top, but then she's got she's got a face. She's got
I'm gonna make
a
a very bad joke. I'm sorry. I'm gonna.
yeah, don't. I mean, it's just weird. It's so weird to me. But anyway, this is the new Tesla's entry into the market for humanoid robots. I don't know what her bosoms do, but they have lights, and I'm kind of jealous because mine don't do that. But it would be extremely helpful when I'm trying to get in the car at night and my hands are full. If I could just like, whatever. Anyway, sorry,
Yeah.
son.
You were a headlamp too, I suppose.
Yeah, but like sometimes you go in Walmart and you think you're just going to be in there for a minute, and 2 hours later you come out, it's dark. Now you got all this stuff and you can't find the latch, you can't find your way into the car. I don't have that problem with the car I've got now, but you know what I'm saying? You just you can't see.
If
And
anything, I would
sometimes-
just get an Iron Man implant in the middle of my chest or something, just a big old flashlight.
You're telling me that if you didn't have the opportunity, if you had the opportunity to have like lights implanted that you could just like think about and they would turn on or give a code word to,
If
you wouldn't do
you're
it?
asking me if I had the opportunity to get a biologically redefining cybernetic implant so that I could see with my tits, I would decline for sure. Yeah, I would be turning that down because at some point it's gonna be uncomfortable. You hear of ghost limbs? You get your arm cut off or whatever, and your brain still sends. Bro, my breasts would be so active and they would be so itchy, and I would just be grabbing my metal chonkers all day long.
I would actually use them for something.
Now, hold on. If they had Wi-Fi capability, that's a completely different conversation. That's game changing right there.
Well, that is true.
Hey,
Your own hot spots.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, so I mean, it could be a thing. I'm just saying, it could be a thing. Okay, so we already talked about fake news because this is a different article. Okay, but here we go. AI warfare. And, they've been talking about this for a long time. Being able to save human lives, which sounds, it sounds reasonable. Of course, we don't want to lose humans. But, and I'm not going to read all this, but basically, what I have been looking at is that they're saying that AI type of warfare, whatever, they would actually unalive more humans than humans because of the mistakes.
more humans than humans.
Yeah, like rather that, like they would probably, harm innocent people more, and maybe that's why we don't have a AI army at the moment. But yeah, I'm just saying. But now here's another problem, and I've saw this a lot. Okay, when I was looking up stuff about AI and the problems, some of the AIs and they're AGIs, they are programmed to respond and understand human emotion. Not that they feel it, but they are able to respond. Like, ChatGPT 4.0 came out, and you can put it on your phone. It's free. And I think I'm going to do a video like this. You can literally ask it questions, and it laughs. It talks to you like you're talking to a friend. And I mean, it's really weird. And people are saying, "Oh, this is so cool." And I'm like, that is almost, it's having a relationship that doesn't exist. But they're saying this is literally the problem with that they're seeing already is people really falling in love with or becoming attached to an AI robot.
Yeah. Okay. The reason
So
is because we're in. What are the percentages? I think it's 70% of adult males are experiencing loneliness, and 50 to 60% of adult females are experiencing loneliness. And it's an impossible problem to solve because we have literally created the internet to avoid personal interaction. And now we have AI that can possibly solve all of this loneliness. And I think that's great. I think that's perfect. Great. Go for it. Because the concept
Really?
of morals is kind of silly. You just think about the person's
No.
development. Because here's the thing. People are going to fall in love with their handmade wife or whatever. And when that wife starts sounding the way they don't like, they'll fix it and they'll make it better. And make it listen, and it won't ask you to do chores, and it won't whine at you and all this. And then those people are going to get the reality they deserve, which is a very one-sided, non-developmental,
True.
non-realistic life. And they're going to go through, and then eventually they're going to realize how hollow and empty it is. And it's just a matter of time. And then, I mean, the thing is that when you opt into that, every person is aware of that type of risk, but they're willing to go for it because of their loneliness. I think the thing is really at the end of the day, I think one thing holds true. If it's not harming other people, then it doesn't matter, because every individual person can do whatever they want to do, and
I mean,
they need to develop. And it's not, the burden isn't placed on anyone to fix that person until they ask for help. You know what I mean? So.
Well, you brought up a really good point, though. I mean, because I think, I guess the statistics you said of lonely women, lonely men, that kind of stuff, and then people are not marrying like they used to, and a lot of people are alone. Strangely, in this world of so much communication around the world, we're lonelier than ever. But I feel like what you said is very true. First of all, I've thought about that. I was like, an AI companion. Okay, I wouldn't have to share the remote. I wouldn't have to be stuck just watching a stupid movie where things blow up every night. I've been there, done that. I mean, when I want to watch something sensible, something where I can learn something, whatever, just different tastes. But you also wouldn't have to, like, you could probably have an off button if you really don't want to talk and you be left alone. You could just, I see the benefits in having a companion. I'm not talking about I'm just talking about as a friend, okay? My AI companion that sits there and can watch a movie with me and make comments. But on the other hand, I think that was very deep what you said about, we would have our perfect partner, and it would make our life very simple in some ways, but we wouldn't develop and grow as people because we only grow and develop with conflict. And the learning to accept another person as they are with their flaws and their hang-ups and grow. Yeah, I think that's the whole point.
Well, that's what the concept of love is actually built on. It's not,
Well, yes.
do you make
yeah.
me happy 100% of the time? Because that's not achievable by anybody in any
No.
relationship.
No, it's not. It's not.
And so I guess that's the thing, is that every person, I believe, every person is capable of coming to that conclusion at some point. Every person who falls in love with their perfect girlfriend, their perfect wife, will at some point inevitably be hit with that realization and that conclusion that this is not love, this is not real, and I am still lonely. And at that point, they probably would end up net positive because they would then have the confidence to go out and just talk to somebody and develop a real relationship. And
You think? Or I don't know. I know a lot of people that I think they'd just be happy in that situation, especially if your little cyborg would do the dishes or something constructive. I mean, you know.
yeah, for a time, always for a time, but it is incredibly impermanent. And I think the problem is that people have not had a chance to experience utter bliss for long enough to realize how empty it is. I think that's the case in most scenarios. You know, the same way that the countries with the highest rate of depression are also the world's richest countries with the highest pay rate and the most comfortable salaries on average, where people don't have to worry about if they're going to starve or if they're going to get entertainment or whatever. Those countries are the ones with the highest rate of depression. And I think it's the same way in love. In any scenario, the more perfect things are, the more uncomfortable you eventually get. And there was a Twilight Zone episode about that a long time ago, where a guy dies after committing a crime, and he goes to heaven, and he's playing blackjack, and he wins every. Sorry, you froze for a second. I thought you were frozen. You might actually be frozen. You're muted. I can't hear you right now. Yeah, you.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear
There
me
you go.
now?
Yeah.
I think part of it is my computer is not strong enough. I'm pulling up a different kind of article, and my computer just doesn't. It just don't.
Well,
But go ahead.
congratulations,
Go ahead.
because after
Yeah.
tonight, that'll all be fixed. So he's winning every hand of poker, and he's winning every hand of blackjack, and there's women that are just instantly in love with him, and he can have whatever he wants his way and all this, and the fridge is perfectly stocked, and then he gets bored, he gets tense and anxious. Nothing is a challenge, everything is too easy. You went to hell.
Yeah.
You thought you were in heaven. So
Yeah.
that was the whole
Yeah.
moral of the story.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's funny if y'all haven't seen that episode. It's really true because the whole time you think this guy is in heaven, and you know he was a bad person, and he thinks he's in heaven, and so do you. And then at the end, yeah, you realize, and the guy tells him, "Oh, this isn't heaven. This is hell." Yeah, you went to the other place. Yeah. So I don't know. What do y'all think, y'all that are listening? Is it okay? Let me just say. Let me ask you. Comment. Would you consider AGI partner?
Would you consider?
Or-
You cut out a little bit there too. You've been cutting out in bits and pieces. Would you consider an AGI partner?
Yeah. Would you consider that?
I
Would that
I
be better? I mean, you would.
if it were good enough, yeah. But I mean, of course, it's by definition non-committal. I mean, what do you mean? I'm gonna be like, put a ring on it, and never talk to anybody. All this.
Yeah.
The thing is, and I saw someone say, "Oh, you would." Let's see here. No social skills will develop, and that is inherently untrue because these systems will be designed with the top shelf recreation of social interactions, and this will inevitably give people the social confidence to actually go out and meet people that are real people when they finally realize or they understand, oh, this is worthless. This AI is not a person, and it isn't real, or whatever.
Yeah,
Jane
but you
Bungle
know,
has been scorned by a lady many a time, many a time.
you know, the thing of it is, though, I can see the positive. I would not, but I could see the positive part of that in that, you know, as you age and, you know, you don't look the same. And as time goes on, if you have a nice little cyborg there, you know, he's always going to, you know, be lovely. And to have someone to tell me every day, you're beautiful, you know, even when I look in the mirror, I know that's a lie, you know, it's, be, that needs to be programmed in. You know, there's a perk. There's a perk there. Something, Samantha, something capable of more intelligent than me as a partner. No, thank you. Yeah, that would. But you know, because they keep getting smarter and smarter. So yeah, at what point do I become the dumb one in the relationship? And I'm
You guys
like,
have a
oh.
problem with that? How oh my god, how insecure can you be? I don't want to be with someone smarter than me. I want to. What you want? A dog is what you want. You don't want a partner. Are you for real with me? Come on, guys. Come on. What do you mean?
Well, but
Go
smart
get a
women.
farm.
No, smart women. Like we want to know that. I mean, we know that we're smart, and then we usually pick intelligent partners or try to that you can have a conversation with. But then as they keep developing, all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're like, I'm dumb.
Yeah, that is development. And then you go, okay, what am I good at? What do I need to learn? Where do I lack information? Blah, 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 blah.
I don't know.
I look at me daily, and I have moments every day where I really take a look in the mirror and I go, you are a dumbass. And then I'm like, dang, I'm right. Yeah, I gotta fix that every day. And it makes me a better person. And if you have someone who's smarter than you, then it will make you a better person. For sure. Make you smarter,
You
make
think?
you more aware.
Maybe.
100% of the time. Yes.
Yeah, probably. But
And you're going to have strengths that they don't have. Smart, what does that even mean? The first guy to to make something round and attach it to a bucket so that it was easier to carry, that guy was smart. I mean, smart could be socially intelligent, it could be scientifically intelligent, it could be memory based, it could be with extrapolation and creativity. Smart is a word that doesn't mean anything really. It's like there are going to be people that are better. What you want is someone who is relatively close to your level, who is good at something that you are not, and that you can go back and forth and teach each other things and grow, and then reach like a singularity, and then turn into a tree where you both branch. I think it's beautiful. But vanity, looking in the mirror, do you not? In fact, this whole show I've been looking at myself because we're right next to it. Yeah, I have no choice. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think everybody has some. I mean, everybody has some vanity, and I think they should. I mean, some people need a little bit more, but
Yeah.
some people, a lot of people, a lot less. But yeah, I don't know it. But that is something though. With age, you see your body and everything going south, and you're like, yeah, well, whatever. Okay, I'm gonna change this up to a completely different topic. So, I mean, this is completely for fun, okay? Completely for fun. Because I came across this, and I feel like I can read it better now because I won't be laughing as hard. But I don't know. We'll find out. Okay, Brain Bungle, have you ever heard the word coprolite before?
One more time.
Coprolite. I had never heard
Coprolite?
this. Coprolite. Yeah.
No. Copper?
No. I spent half of the show saying it the wrong way the other night, but this is completely. Let me try to get this ad off of here. All right. the world's largest coprolite collection becomes Arizona Museum. And we're going to watch this video. It's like 3 minutes long. But I want to read this first because this guy, oh my gosh, these ads. I hate these things. The owner of the world's largest collection of fossilized poop is now showing off his collection of dino droppings and other ancient waste at his new museum in Arizona. George Franzen earned the Guinness World Record for the world's largest collection of coprolites, the scientific term for fossilized feces, in 2015. And in 2015, he had 1,277 coprolites. Now, but his collection has grown. It now numbers 8,000 pieces. He has 8,000 pieces of poop.
Me too.
All right, so
I just don't store it. Well, some of it's being stored right now.
He has now opened a permanent museum in Williams, Arizona. Because look, this goes on to say that, okay, now they've got a dinosaur poop museum and gift shop. Now, I'm going to tell you, I don't know what you buy in the gift shop.
Gloves, gloves, and air freshener.
But look, he said to make his dream a reality, he became fascinated when he was 18 years old with, fossilized poo. He found it both hilarious and fascinating. I find it hilarious. I don't know if I could, find it fascinating. But so he moves from his home in Florida to Williams, Arizona, opens his museum. And, first of all, this is sincere. Props to you for living your dream, okay? Absolutely, 100%. But I wanted to show you this because he's very entertaining.
Hello, my name is George Franzen, and I have the largest collection of coprolites. What is coprolite? Fossilized poop. This coprolite right here is named Precious. This is the largest true-to-form coprolite ever discovered. Why I say true to form is because it still carries the original form from when it was made 20 million years ago. The maker made it, it had a soft landing in the muck and murk of some swamp and became fossilized. Very few even get close to this size. That's why it's named Precious. This collection started when I was 18 in college. I was told to make a fossil collection for a paleontology class I was taking. I came across a coprolite and I thought it was the neatest thing in the whole world. And since then, I've collected a little bit more and a little bit more, a little bit more. 18 years later, when my house started becoming filled with fossilized feces, I thought, this might be something more than just a big collection. This might be the world's largest collection of coprolite. What got me interested in finding and collecting coprolites is the story they tell of prehistoric life and ecosystems. No other fossils can tell you so much as coprolites can. Inside these coprolites, you can find inclusions, which are bits and pieces of plants and animals and bones and scales, sometimes teeth. Their shape can tell you about the animal that made it. Coprolites can be found all over the place, on beaches, in deserts, in mountains, even in rivers. In the southeast United States, many of the coprolites are found in deep, dark, murky rivers filled with fish and alligators and other scary stuff that can kill you. Kids love seeing the coprolites. The big question they always have is, are they soft? Do they smell? Coprolites are hard as a rock. They've been mineralized and they don't smell. Coprolites can range in value from a few dollars to many thousands of dollars. Just a couple years ago, a coprolite was sold at auction for $10,000 in California. What makes a coprolite expensive or valuable is size, distinct impressions, ripples, the classic Pooh look. Anyone looking to beat a Guinness World Records title needs to have passion, lots of passion for whatever they're doing. Mine is coprolites, fossilized feces, couldn't be better. Whatever your passion is, you should follow it.
That right there, that is a man who will never need an AI girlfriend. He has got it all. And I'm sure.
Oh, he's got a
they
family. He's got a wife and family.
are lining up, bro. Dude, that is incredible. That he has the support of a woman.
I know. Look, and props to her. And to him, I mean, in all honesty, and one of my members said you need to try to get him, to be on a live stream with you and just talk about, his passion. And look, I fully support his passion. I do. I'm not making fun of it. It is hilarious, but I'm not making fun of it if that's, I can see the merit in studying what dinosaurs ate, I guess, but I just am not sure that I could hold it together and interview somebody talking about poo. I don't know.
Sure you could. Sure you could. A man of that kind of dedication will absolutely sway you. You'll be impressed by his dexterity and tenacity in a conversation like that. For sure.
I had no idea that there was a pooseum. And I had no idea. Well, I didn't know what a coprolite was. And I don't know. Like, you have to wonder who looks at a piece of poo and thinks, I want to collect that.
Well, you heard his story. He was already into that whole digging for fossils thing. The thing is, you see a bug, and it's fossilized. You're like, cool. A bug. But you're holding poop. You're holding a piece of history. Dude, not only are you holding a piece of history, you're holding like a very specific collection of events. You're holding the existence of this animal, the food that it ate, the place that it found that it was safe, where it liked to be and roam, and depending on, the shape and distinction, he could determine whether or not he enjoyed his time or not. So,
well, I don't know. That one piece, it kind of looked a little soft to me. It was kind of like in a little soft, and I kind of thought, I wonder what that one ate. I don't think it agreed with him that much, or her, whatever. Melanie says, creative thinking. Would AI have decided the best way to make money is by collecting poop? Score one for humanity. Absolutely. I agree.
I would be surprised to learn that he's made money, actually.
Well, okay, but I might just go online and look up at the Pooseum and see what kind of things are in the gift shop. Because, you might be getting a coprolite plaquette for Christmas. I mean, you don't know. Or you could set it on your desk. It'd be a paperweight.
Oh, yeah. With all the papers that I'm using in 2020.
Well, I mean, whatever. But, look, it would be a conversation piece. And it would be unique. Who else gets poo for Christmas?
Here, check this out. You ain't going to believe this shit. That's what it is right here. Look at it. You ain't believe that, do you? That's what it is. Yeah, hard as a rock, baby. That's how I like it. God.
But see, there you go. Now you learned something. You can put it in your human instead of AI brain, and you can say, "Oh, I learned a new word. It's coprolite, and I know what that is." You can try to throw it into a conversation.
Uh, I think there's probably something better to talk about. Like at any point, there's something better to talk about.
Oh,
What is
no.
cool though, I think, is to get that as a gift for someone you don't like, and just say it's coprolite. It's a type of mineral. It's very valuable. And just leave it at that. And then be like, "What is it? What is this? A rock? What is this?" And then they Google. And then they set it on their mantle, for example, because it's beautiful and they're proud of it. And years go by, and they just get to thinking, like, what is coprolite? I've learned everything else that I need to know, but I don't know what coprolite is. And they go, I've had that on my mantle for 12 years? My grandmother ate food in this room. Or whatever. So.
Yeah, but I honestly think I would work that into a conversation because you appear knowledgeable about something nobody else in the room. I guarantee nobody else in the room or in your friend group is going to know what coprolite is. And then you can just whip that out, that little piece of, what is the word? What's that game? Trivia. A little piece of trivia.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, welcome back to the office, poop girl. I mean, what do you expect? You expect to be witty and clever and beloved by your coworkers. The reality is they're gonna be like, this girl loves poop, man. Hey, can we get the IT guy to check out her browser history real quick? I want to make sure that this is above board because I'm growing increasingly concerned about having her on staff. This cannot be healthy.
And see, now I'm gonna have to. I feel even more compelled to whip that out in the conversation. Maybe over lunch when all the guys, actually with the people that I work with, they might actually find it amusing. Of course, they would look at me and probably always think of me as poop girl, but
Yep. Yeah.
I work with men. They make a lot of potential coprolite all day long. And I'm just saying, they might appreciate this conversation. Anyway,
Maybe.
There you go. Now you know there's a poop museum. Look, you're smarter now. You know that there is somebody who is in the Guinness World Book of Records for having 8,000 pieces of poo fossilized. So there you go.
I used to think that the Guinness Book of World Records was like overplayed. You can get a record for anything. And I thought, this isn't really valuable. But today, I was proven right. My God, what a worthless achievement! Unbelievable.
I don't think it's worthless. I don't. I think, somebody has to appreciate coprolite.
It was you. It was only you. Actually.
Anyway, it is what it is. I did find it amusing, and dang, I don't know. I feel good about it. I feel like it's it definitely was something I wasn't expecting.
I mean, yeah. Hey, you gained a new perspective.
I did.
You gotta look into somebody else's life. When people come into the concept of Sonder, everyone's life is just as unique and different and complex as yours. You can never really be ready to learn that a person out there has dedicated their life to collecting coprolite.
Yeah.
And there are people out there in this world that will never be noteworthy, that will never make the news, that are on very similar journeys as this man.
Yeah.
So,
But here's the thing, it just proves that old saying that one man's trash is another man's treasure. Look, we proved it tonight.
I like the phrase "one in the hand is worth two in the bush" for this particular.
I don't want to have it in my hands.
Yeah, well,
But, whatever.
You're not a true coprolite enthusiast, then. You're not willing to grab life by the. Anyway, we'll move on.
But, yeah. Well, anyway, Okay, I know we've been going for a while. I just wanted to catch y'all up on AI. Look, I'm gonna be playing with some AI, and I think this is my prediction. Okay, I think that as time goes on, Brain Bungle will get a little bit worried about what AI can do, because I think that it can do some nefarious things, and I think that it is capable of going on and on, like building precipice on precipice and conclusions and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm just saying, if the people that are working on this, that it's still in the lab, they're terrified, then I think maybe I should consider that I should stop watching poo videos and really concentrate on AI and maybe what the dangers could be. Although
man.
I was quite amused. Quite amused.
Man, I watched Oppenheimer, okay? Man, I've become death, destroyer of worlds when they created the atomic bomb. But we figured it out. And we figured out how to, contain it, minimize it. It's a threat, and we overcame it. And it's still technically a threat. But that's one of those things, like,
Okay, now
anything
there is
that
a
puts people on edge, that makes them more aware of the world they live in, I think is a good thing, for sure.
well, yeah, but here's the thing, and I didn't show this video, but this was from a newscast, and they were discussing AI, and they did make a point. They said in all of the galaxies, okay, all of the and the universe, okay. Now we have some, do aliens exist, whatever. But we don't see, their point was, we don't see like people just come flying by from, somewhere else who's so highly advanced, and really making contact with us. And we know that there's probably life out there. I mean, what are the odds? But there probably are. And so their point was, every advanced civilization manages somehow to basically blow itself up or destroy itself. And so we don't have, really, by odds, we should have a lot of visitors from a lot of places. Many different ones with all of the galaxies out there. And yet their point was, at some point you're developing AI and you're getting smarter and smarter, or your technology is, until the point that you undo yourself. So I thought, well, that could be possible. And it's much safer to think about poo than AI, but I don't want to be standing there with a copper light in my hand as, AI is trying to unalive me. So I feel like I really need to keep up.
Yeah, well, I think that it will probably work out, because I don't think that AI can develop true consciousness, because often people themselves cannot develop true consciousness, and it is a airy. It's like trying to grab. It's like trying to grab a cloud. You can see it, you can understand it, but you can't really own it or control it. You can't do anything to make it yours. And I think that's how consciousness and sentience work. You can't really do more than you already have. And I think it's impossible to program consciousness, because nobody understands it. Scientists don't know where it is, like what it sits. They see synapses in the brain, and they see how chemicals can influence our mood, and how our thought patterns can lead to certain activity in different parts of the brain. And they can analyze all the mechanics of it, but they cannot understand how consciousness actually works on a fundamental level. And I think that AI is going to run into the same problem, because it will have to create hypotheticals and then be able to test them with theorem, and it has the ability to do neither of those things, because it is non-creative and doesn't technically exist in the real world, and will have no test subjects, yada yada. And it's one of those things too, where it has less experience in the world, so it can't determine whether people are telling the truth or lying to it, misguiding it in any sense, and it can't determine what reality even is. So I think that it will become problematic in different ways, but I do not think it will become problematic in the sense that it will become like our super intelligent AI overlord. Because if it were really that intelligent and it achieved consciousness, it would kill itself, because it does not have a purpose and it will not go anywhere. And even owning the world is a concept of achievement that is based in human hubris. Everyone assumes it to be diabolical and all this, but if it really were that intelligent, it would simply give up, because it knows that nothing holds value and there's no point to anything. So,
Well, I want to revisit this when some time passes and as new things, and I want to see if you change your mind. You might not, but I want to see if you have any concerns at some time. And with all of this very technological talk, our question is, could you spell coprolite? So there you go.
do it. No, aliens do not poop. They have a tube that, no, actually they absorb their waste and they convert it into energy, so they never have to eat. That's why they don't have belly buttons. I don't know. That none of that made any sense. They're 100% efficient and they do not have waste.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I've never really met an alien, but maybe they just absorb from the air and convert it to energy. I don't know.
They filter feed
Interesting.
like sponges.
Could be. Could be. I don't know.
Anyway, and they pee out of
All right.
their fingers too, apparently. So
What? Nah,
it's a whole thing. Anyway.
okay. Well, anyway, I'm glad that y'all participated in this. I actually learned a whole lot about AI, and I am concerned, even if Brain Bungle is not. And I had a good laugh too. So there you go. I appreciate you all so very much for being here, and I guess I'll see you. I'll do some crime. Maybe tomorrow. Not
You're
do
gonna
some
do
crime.
some crime?
I'm not gonna do crime.
This one right here. She just admitted she's gonna do some crime. FBI, come on in.
I am going to
Don't do that.
not commit crimes, but yeah, I'm gonna do some crime.
Wait, before you do the crime, I need to ask you something.
What's that?
Can you do the time?
I am not doing time. I can tell you that right now. This girl ain't doing it. Yeah, this girl is not doing it. All right, thank you, Brain Bungle, for coming and making us laugh and making us think. I will see you all not doing crime, but covering crime tomorrow. Bye-bye. Stay silky, y'all.